Okay. And let me open the system. I will include the transaction codes here. Yeah. Okay, main menu. Today we are going to focus on two main areas that are related to payments and treatment with the banks. We are going to focus on what we call payment run in SAP and on the electronic statements and manual statements functionalities that the system has to process the bank statements, okay? Those are going to be the main topics. Let me open the PowerPoint. Here we have it. So we will start with the payment run according to the discussions that we had yesterday, the main method to perform payments is through wire transfers, okay? So we are going to see that in the system, and I include there in the slide the main transaction that we are going to use for that. That is F110, okay? So going to the system, you will locate that inside, again, accounting, financial accounting. Now we jump to accounts payable. And then within the system, this is inside the periodic processing submenu, okay? Here we are going to see that the transaction F110 is there included. Wait a second that I check the phone, because there are messages in Hangout, I think. Pablo, can you take care of the comments and highlight them to me? Because as I am sharing the screen, I cannot jump to the other ones. Okay. Perfect. Then we are going to start F110 here, and this is the initial screen. The initial screen is quite basic, okay? First, we have the run date. We are going to use today's date. And we have an ID for the run, okay, for the payment run. What I normally do is try to include something that is logic, okay, or my name, or the name of the company code, or something like that, or a reference, to avoid other people get confused and touch your own payment runs, okay? So, for example, I will put here my initials plus, in this case, 02, because I was testing something this morning, okay? So it's the second run I make today, I prepare today. I press enter here, and you see, here we are in the status tab. There are multiple tabs in this screen. Each tab needs to be reviewed and complete before executing the payment run, okay? So I have included this, and I will go to parameters. That is the first important tab here, Kirsty, to define what you want to pay, okay? By default, the system is suggesting the current posting date and to review all the documents that were posted until today, okay? But if you want, you can change this second field to, let's say, for example, all documents posted until January 31, okay? That's an example. The first field I will complete manually is the company code field. As we saw yesterday.
I just have a quick question for you, because you've got automatic payments here. even if we've got payments or invoices that are entered up until a certain date, they may not be approved. We can deselect those invoices, correct?
Yes, exactly. Here we are going to see how we select or deselect or reallocate payments. Yes.
Oh,
And
thanks, Juan.
in the invoice or in the transactions that we saw yesterday, I can show it that again. We have the ability to block an invoice or unblock, okay? With a mass program, with an individual invoice, so we have multiple options to be able to block an invoice for payment, okay? So here the first field is the company code field. We are going to use 9,100 for Fortuna there in Canada. The payment method, for now, I will start with wire transfers. If we open this little box that we call match code, sorry. Let me press enter. You need to press enter to provide the company code. 1 second. There we see that we have a check or a wire transfer as payment methods, okay? We will select, for now, wire transfer. I am showing this, but you can write it directly here, T or C, okay? Just to expedite it. And here is an important field, Kirsty. This is the next payment date, the next payment run when I suppose it will be executed, okay? So for example, let's suppose I generate my payment runs once a week, let's say every Thursday, okay? Today is 2, my next payment run, my assumption will be that is February 9, okay? So the system will include on this payment run all the items that are already due and all the items that are not due but are going to be due before the next payment run, okay? It's clear that? That is important to understand how the system is proposing the items to you in this transaction. So as we are testing, one way to do it is I include here 31 of December of 2099, for example. That will give me all the items that we have loaded, okay? Because we are just starting our testing, so there are not a lot of items. I include everything. That's the way to do it. Okay? And I select or unselect the items that I want to pay.
Okay. Thank you.
I press enter, and then the system will allow me to use these fields. You see that we have the vendors, and here, again, as yesterday when we saw it in the reports, I can select a range, individual vendor numbers, and so on. For now, I will use all the vendor numbers, okay, because we have a lack of items here. We don't have many, so I will include everything. The next, this screen is done with this, the parameters screen, okay? Then we can jump to free selection, the next tab. Free selection is, if I want to make some additional filters for the items that I want to include here, I can do it. For example, I can select through this field name field by document number, by payment block, by account group, and I even have others at document level, vendor master record, customer master record, because this transaction can be used to collect items also. Let's suppose for documents, the system will list all the fields that I can use to reduce my list or to filter my list, okay? So by document type, whatever I want. If I include something here, I can say to the system, okay, include only these documents with these values, or include everything but exclude these documents with these values, okay? So it's an additional selection tab to refine your search of items to be paid, okay? It's only that. Next tab is important, is the log, additional log tab, okay? And here, if you want, this is by heart, you need to select the checkbox 1, the 3rd, and the 4th. Why? Because this will give me a detailed log, okay? We can save a variant for you. You keep it there and you always base your payment runs on that variant. This will provide me information on the log in the case of errors, okay? And it's a little bit confusing. For example, in English says payment method selection in all cases, okay? So the system will provide me a detailed list of the problems for all selections that it makes for all payment methods in all cases. But, strange it or not, although this sentence, if you select payment method selection, if not successful, what it seems to be a lower level of detail, if you select this in this way, the log is reduced. I think it's a translation from German to English, that there is something that is not well translated in the system. It's a standard, it's for every company the same. So here, instead of an explanation, it's a recommendation from my side. We need to always have these fields like this, okay? And here, you need to include also the numbers of the vendors that I included in the first screen, okay? So, important things is to respect these flags in this setup and to include the same vendor numbers that I included here in the parameters tab. Okay? I know this is a little bit like, do it like this, but unfortunately, if you already select a vendor, why to include it here again? If you want, if you have an error, it should show you the error. But anyway, it's the way the SAP company prepare this transaction, and we need to respect that. Okay, next tab. In the case of Canada, we are not going to use this right now, okay? Because we use normally this transaction when we generate forms for checks or electronic files for the bank and stuff like that, okay? We can discuss that later, but here what you define is inside these variants, for example, let's suppose Canada, let me put it here. Sorry. I can define some parameters, and especially if I generate payment advices. See, if I see here, you can select if you print a summary of the payments, you select the printer, if you print it immediately, and so on, okay? For now, and this we can chat about this later, we are not going to generate, from my current understanding, forms for checks in Canada because you have a very low volume, okay? We can generate the posting in the system, but per my understanding, and if I am wrong, please correct me.
Yes, we have a low volume of checks, but I still need to know how to print them.
You want to print them?
We still need to know how to print them,
Okay, okay.
okay? Even though we do have a low volume of checks.
Yeah, but it's just to know, or you need the form to be prepared for go live to print the check. That's my question.
Well, yeah, you're probably gonna, yeah, we need to physically print the check. So if you don't have the parameters for that, we're gonna need to get that to you.
The problem is that before the parameters, we need the form ready to generate the printing paper. Okay, the form
Okay,
the form is not there.
I
That's my point. Okay,
okay, so we'll need to get that there. Okay,
it's something to put in the parking lot to discuss it. Okay,
okay, thanks.
thanks to you. Okay, I have finalized the description of these tabs, okay? And if I want to go back to status, as I change information here in these tabs, the system asks me to save the data. I will say yes here. And now that I completed all the information in these tabs, this traffic light that was red at the beginning, let me show you how it was. I will add a different ID and start from scratch. No parameters enter yet, okay, at the beginning. If I go back to my previous payment run, in this one, I have prepared the parameters already, so the traffic light is green now. If you see, when I start with the payment run, I will jump to the other one again. I have only the status button here. But in the one that we prepared already the parameters, we can go ahead and execute with this button the proposal or the payment run directly. Suggestion, prepare always the proposal first, review it, validate it, and then we execute the payment run, okay? With the proposal, you are not generating any journal entry, any accounting posting. You are just displaying what you are going to pay. You can modify the content of the payment run without affecting any accounting entry. So I will press proposal, and here we will say, by default, we will have current day and start time 000. We only need to select this small flag that says start immediately, okay? If we have the forms, if we have a file to be submitted to the bank, we can also include this create payment medium flag, and that even in the proposal mode, in the simulation mode, it will generate the file for the bank so we can review it, or it will generate a print, a dummy print form to review the content of the checks, okay? So for now, as we don't have the forms, I am going to use only let's say, the accounting side of this, okay? Not generating the files or the forms. You see that the proposal is running now, okay? And I can do two things here. I can press the status button here or just press enter with the keyboard. I have pressed enter with the keyboard, and now the payment proposal has been created. Now we have a very low volume. It doesn't take a lot of time, but maybe when you have, I don't know, a couple of thousands of open items, it can take, I don't know, 30 seconds, 1 minute, something like that. It will not be immediately. So you continue pressing enter with the keyboard until you get the green traffic light. You see how at the top the buttons have changed. Now I can see the proposal with the glasses, display the proposal, or I can change the proposal with a little pen, or I can see the log of the proposal. And there we will be able to see which problems I have in case I detect something that is wrong inside the line items that I will review in the proposal. So I will press the little pen to edit the proposal, okay? I just press enter there and see what it happens. You remember this vendor Chicharito from yesterday? Okay? The vendor has 2 items pending. We posted 3, but 1 was already paid yesterday. We paid it manually to review the open items and clear items. And this morning, playing a little bit, I changed some parameters of one of the items we posted yesterday. Okay? The red lights are these items are not going to be paid. Why? Because they have a problem. Okay? They have been included inside the period, inside the filters, but they have a problem and we are not able to pay them. This is on purpose. So you have all the situations here in the training that you can have. Normally, if everything is correct, you will have most of traffic lights in green, okay? So this green one, it's for Chicharito vendor. Here we have the name. We double click and we see that we have 1 document. This is the invoice that is going to be paid, okay? If I go back, I return to the main screen. Pablo, if you are, let me check something, just in case. I want to check that Pablo is connected. No. We lost Pablo. Give me 1 second. I will send the invite again. Here. Paul, I saw your question now that I moved to the other screen. I am re-inviting Pablo with this. I will explain what needs to be done with the red traffic lights. Okay. So the green one is that this item of 1,120 will be paid. Okay. Let's see why the other item is not being paid if it's for the same vendor. Okay. If I go and double click that item and go to the document, here it says payment method for this run are not specified in master record or in the item. Okay. Let's check then what is going on. Here it's saying payment method C. This morning, on purpose to this document, let me show you that. Do you remember the transaction from yesterday, Kirsty, to display the document?
No, I have to go back and look at all my records for that one.
Well, then we can use the menu. Okay, just to start playing with that. So, accounting, financial accounting, we can use AP or general ledger is the same. Display, and we put that number here. The company code was 9,100, fiscal year 2017. Okay, we have that particular document. Here we have 1,050. If we see the document we were reviewing was that, same amount. And what we are going to do is double click here and see what is going on with this item. Why this not? Because this morning I enter and put payment method C here. Why? I want to pay this invoice with a check. So I stated there in the document, in the line item, that I want to pay it with check. If you remember, in our payment run, I included here, outside the payment run, in the parameters, that the payment method is T, okay? So we can check the other one the one that is being paid and see what is the difference. This is 53, the document number. I will jump to the other transaction again. I will go back and review the document. In this one, if you see, the payment method was empty. This is just to explain you how the system works, okay? The payment method was empty, so why the system is paying to this vendor with transfer, and it's allowing me if it doesn't says transfer here. I can go to the vendor master data, okay? To do that, what I made, Kirsty, is just to double click here in the document in the vendor number. It's another capability of this drill down functionality that we were talking yesterday. I double click here and automatically takes me to the vendor master. Okay? And there I can go to the company code, payment transactions, and see what is there. You see that for this vendor, in the vendor master, we have established that the payment method to be used is wire transfer. Okay? So by default, the system will consider that all the items, although they are with a blank space in the payment method in the line item, like this, in the invoice it was empty. As in the vendor master, I have the payment method definition, the system for payment runs, automatic payment runs, will consider the payment method that is there in the vendor master.
Okay.
Here, Pablo, Paul, does have any question regarding this? Because I cannot follow the two things at the same time. No? Okay. So, question then, Kirsty, just to clarify and summarize, to check if you understood the concept. Why this item is being paid? Because
That item is
because on the vendor master we have the payment method wire transfer, okay, and the item is not saying a different thing. And why this item is not being paid? Because this morning I put payment method C, that means check, and I am executing a payment run of wire transfers. Okay?
Okay, now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We create payments in the form of electronic funds transfer and wire transfers.
Yeah.
Wire transfers are generally done for U.S. dollars and any foreign currency transactions that are not Canadian dollars.
Okay.
Or sorry, that are not Canadian dollars out of our Canadian bank. And electronic funds transfers are done on all of our Canadian funds to Canadian banks. Is there going to be a third parameter set up regarding payments? Because it is very currency specific. And electronic funds transfers, there is no fee to the recipient, whereas on wire transfers, there is a fee to the recipient.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, we should, if there are different conditions, we should have a different payment method. They are like an F for electronic funds transfer. Okay.
Okay.
We can add it, Pablo, to the parking lot. So we need an additional payment method. Okay. You see that these two items are belonging to this vendor, Chicharito. And then we have another item for company ABC and another one for another vendor. Here in this column that I am highlighting, we have the vendor numbers also, okay? Just to play a little bit, let's see why this ABC company item was not paid, okay? I double click on it, and it says no valid payment method found, okay? So, considering what we have just learned about payment methods, it says no valid payment method found. What can we have on this item? One thing could be that the document has another payment method, as we saw, okay? So I will copy the document number, and we'll go to this transaction and check what is there. Okay, we see that we have a vendor item, and okay, payment method is empty. So my next assumption, I am trying to explain you how I work with this when I see these exceptions in the red traffic lights. Okay, I can go to the vendor master, and maybe there, instead of saying T, it's saying C for check. I go there, I go to the company code data and payment transactions, and strange, it has C but also T, so it should work, okay? So in this particular case, something is going on that is not so easy to catch, okay? So let's see what is going on. How can I do that inside the payment run? You remember we were talking about the logs for errors, okay? So we are going back. If you remember, we set these logs to see payment method selection if not successful, okay? So in the first tab, in status, we have the button to modify the proposal, to display the proposal, and to review the log. And we are going to be there. Here we have all the analysis that is made by the system for each vendor, each document, and so on, okay? With details of the different steps and checks that is performing. I have copied the document number that was with problems. This. So I will look for that document and see what is going on there, okay? Here we have document 1007, line item 1, Canadian dollars, the amount. It checks the payment terms, 60 days, and the payment must be taken before the next payment run day that we put a long date. So it will be due before the next payment run. Next analysis. It checks if there is a discount, okay? And then it goes to the payment selection method. For payment method selection, it checks that T is valid for the vendor, it's okay, but what it says here, look at this. Let me try to increase this in a word for you. Sometimes it's too small, the letter, at least for me. Okay, you see here, street or PO box entry is missed. No permitted payment method exists. Why? Because there is a definition behind C that is checking that if you are making a wire transfer, the vendor needs to have the address complete. Okay? So, in this case, I go to the vendor master. Sorry, it was in the wrong item. I can go to the vendor master, and yes, exactly, it doesn't contain a street. Okay? Street, and postal code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I save it. I have changed that. So I need to go back to the payment run, go back, and I can reprocess it. I can do edit, proposal, delete. I will delete the suggestion. Now that I have changed the context fields of the vendors, I run it again. Okay. I will check the log of that document again. Okay. What is saying now? Look at this. In the same place, now the description has changed. Okay, I completed the street, and now this is appearing. No entry for city made. What I am showing you there is that you have the exact detail of the error that you are having for that item here in the log. That is why it's very useful for you and also very important to understand how to use it, how to find things quickly to avoid start to review everything in the system while you are having that information there and it's exact the point that the system is checking. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now I will go back again to the vendor. I will add the city, and with that it will be enough. Column. Save. Okay. Now I go back to the payment run. I will do the same process. Delete the proposal. Execute it again. And now I will check the proposal. You see now, ABC, it's going to be paid. If I change, for example, if I go to this item that was defined for checks, and I remove the C or I put a T, this item will also be paid. So we are modifying the initial selection of the system and accommodating to our needs. For example, I give you this example. With this, we are going to pay 556,120. Let's suppose our current balance in the bank account is only 555. So I can pay only this one. Okay? I can double click here, and even by selecting the document and double clicking, I can do reallocate or to another bank or generate the payment block here, for example, block for payment. I go back, and now the item is in green but 0, and outside this, I will see that the item has been, no, sorry, outside this, no, here for Chicharito, we have 2 items now, okay, both in red. This one with the little blue arrow is the one that I have changed. No, sorry, the other one is the one I have changed. Here you see the C, okay, and it's block for payment, okay. So again, here we can play with the system. If I made a mistake, I can go again here and unlock that. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay, it comes back here. Well, with all these double clicks and relocations or the log, I can define exactly the content of the payment run. Okay, let's see the other case. Here I have 6 items, it says. Okay, I go there and yes, I have 6 items. But what is going on with these items? Why is not being able to pay? look at this. No payment possible because items with a debit balance still exist. Okay? So it's like there is an item that is generating negative balance with this vendor, and there are some definitions in the system that are preventing to pay to a vendor that has negative balance. Okay? So stuff like that.
So then how would you apply the credit memos? Because if the vendor is going to go into a debit balance, then they've got a credit memo. So how do you apply the credit memos so that you can enable the balance of the invoices to be paid?
The assignment of credit memos, when you post a credit memo, for example, I told you this yesterday, is transaction FB65, okay? And when you are processing the credit memo, you see the transaction is exactly the same that for the invoice. The important thing is here in the details tab, the field. You see this invoice reference field?
Mm-hmm.
This field is used to make a reference to the original invoice to which the credit memo is referred.
Okay.
So when you pay, when you generate the payment run, if you have an invoice of 1,000 with a credit memo referred to it of 800, it will directly pay 200 and clear both items in one shot.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect. Yep, perfect.
That's the point. If you want later or tomorrow or in any moment, we can sit down and review how they look in the line items when you have an open invoice and an open credit memo. How you get the balance of the invoice, okay? We can do an example now. Well, give me 1 second. Anyway, to access to these documents, we can generate the payment without any problem now. It was just to let you know that you have the flexibility to modify these values, the initial selection of the system, and then save it, okay? You save it here. When you go back, you see that the third step is made here with the green traffic light. Payment proposal has been edited, okay? And there, if you want, something that I used to suggest to the people, you can go to the menu, edit proposal, proposal list here, and here you can use 00. Here, this report allows you to print a detail of all the exceptions, but also all the payments, okay? You have the payment by currency, by account of the bank, so you have a summarization, including all the details of the payments you are making. That's one report, okay? If I go there again, and in proposal list, instead of including this default value, I put 20, for example, the report is different with a different information, and we can see the exceptions here and the payments here with another layout, okay? The same information, maybe one additional field or two with a different layout, okay? The important thing with this is we have these 3 reports that are, give me 1 second, RF set ALI 000, 10, and 20, okay? The 3 numbers have a different look. The 3 reports have a different look, but the content is more or less the same, okay? What is good to do sometimes is to stop it here print the report. Maybe you can get an approval from Paul or the person that is responsible to approve payments, and then you continue. Once approved and you are sure everything is okay, you continue to the payment run. The payment run button will just process the green records and generate the postings into accounting by, for example, in this case, crediting the bank and debiting the vendor accounts. Okay. Even if you have withholdings for foreign vendors, the system will perform the posting automatically. You will credit the bank by the delta between the total of the invoice that will be debited and the amounts of withholding will be posted to a payable account. Okay. So I will press payment run.
So with payment run being pressed, that's also going to create the information that's going to go to the bank to be uploaded?
Yes, if we have it in place. At this moment, that file is not being generated. It's not,
okay.
Not ready. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But just a clarification, to do that, you need to select this small flag, create payment medium.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
for electronic transfers or funds. You need to select that and the file will be generated. And for checks, you select that and the check form will be printed. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Again, I can press the enter button and now the system is telling me, okay, 2 postings have been generated and 2 postings have been complete. Okay? So if I go here, log of payment, or better than that, I can go to payment. As we said for proposal list, here we have payment list also. Okay. So for example, we can have, and here we have the original invoice that has been paid and the payment number, payment document, the number of the payment document that we have generated. So we have generated 2 payment documents, 20 all zeros 3 and 20 all zeros 4. We have 10 characters, 10 digits in the document number there. So what I will do now, I will go outside the payment run, okay? Look for the document entry, document, and display. And I will check those 2 documents. The first one was the vendor ABC that we fixed the address problem by 555,000 Canadian dollars, and it's going against a payments account for the bank that is this account that we are seeing here. Okay, so it's debiting the vendor and crediting the bank account. The next document was the one for Chicharito, the other vendor, okay, for the 1,120 Canadian dollars, same kind of journal, debiting vendor, crediting the bank account. Okay, that was for transfers. Let's suppose we need to generate checks, okay? The process is exactly the same. I will generate a new payment run. I will change the ID to, let's say, JPA03. Need to include the parameters. And here, instead of T, I will include C. Okay? Again, the same long date, all the vendors, additional log, flag number 1, 3 and 4, and all the vendors that I include in the first screen. And again, if we have a check form, okay, we can try to include here a variant. The form that we can have here is a standard one for sure, okay, right now. So I will leave this empty, but again, if you put a variant here, sorry, there we are. I can select the printer, I can select the form, and so on, okay? We are not going to do this right now because it's not ready. I'm going to status, I save it, same as before, and execute the proposal, okay? Start immediately, perfect. So now by editing the proposal, we see that the item for Chicharito was automatically green now. It's the same one that was red before for the other payment method, okay? So the system is keeping control of the definition of the payment method in the vendor master or in the line item correctly. We're going to pay $1,050, okay? I leave it like that, I save it, and now I can execute the payment run.
Okay, quick question for you. When you're at the section where it's telling you how much you're going to be paying, are currencies being mixed when you're selecting the payments? So are you selecting Canadian only invoices or US only invoices? Or can that be set in the parameters?
You have here in the parameters, sorry, in the free selection, the possibility to select currency, for example, of the document. Okay. That could be a possibility.
Okay, so then you can specifically specify the currency you're selecting. Okay, cool, thank you.
Another thing is, and I will show you that, this is configuration anyway, yeah? But I will show you quickly. This is not for the end user, but it will let you understand how it works. I think it's by company code. For each payment method, I can include here, give me 1 second, if foreign business partners are allowed or not, for example. That's one topic, or a foreign currency. Okay, so for example, as you say, if you are paying with wires, it can be foreign currency. If you are paying with electronic funds, it cannot be foreign currency or something like that. And also, if I go to the payment method in the country, at country level, I can establish the currencies that are allowed for wire transfer, for example. The currencies that are allowed for electronic funds, in a way that I can avoid errors of processing, let's say, a payment as electronic fund for a vendor in US, okay?
Sorry, mic was off. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I can establish all the currencies that I need here by payment method. That will give a little more control.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Okay, here we have generated the payment. We can go to the payment list again. And here we see that we have generated the document 20, all zeros, 5. In this case, it was a check. So if I go here, document display, here we have the other document, okay? If we double click on the line, we can see that here it was a payment method C, okay? So it's our new document. And now, for example, to review how the documents are displayed, we can go to transaction FBL1N, FBL1N. Here you have the code. That was the transaction we reviewed yesterday for vendor open items. And for Chicharito, I think it was 94. You can see all items now. You see, all of them are clear now, not more red traffic lights. This is the payment, the manual payment that we made yesterday through F-53. This is the first payment run, document 20.000.4. That is the wire transfer. And here is the last document we generated. That is the check, okay? So everything has been cleared automatically. We didn't need to post quantities or amounts. We are just checking in some cases if we have a red traffic light, the reason why, and if it's okay or not, okay? So that covers automatic payments, okay? As we said yesterday, for payments, we have also the possibility, if you need to pay a specific transaction, sorry, F-53. We can use the same transaction we used yesterday, okay? We want to pay one invoice, okay, or something like that. We can perform the process through this transaction, where I include the bank account, the GL bank account, the amount, the vendor number, and then in the item side, I was selecting manually the item I want to pay. Okay, sometimes it's easier if you only want to pay one document, as we did yesterday. Okay. Questions at this point?
No questions from me.
Then just a clarification from my side, and to take notes. You need a form for the check to be printed, and you need the files for the bank. And let me ask you a question regarding that. I know it's not a requirement session, but just to understand. You need the same format for wire transfers that the one that you have for electronic funds, or you think it's a different layout of the file?
I believe it's a different layout of the file. You guys were talking with our bank regarding the file formats that were necessary earlier this month, and unfortunately, I didn't continue the conversation because it was all tech stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know where it is with the conversation that you guys all had. It was about a 45-minute conversation.
Yeah, I am aware Julio maintaining that conversation, but as we don't have the files ready right now, it's just that I want to be all in the same page about the idea that we are having. Okay. Yeah,
understood. So because of that, I know that it's different when I manually enter the payments into the bank. I know it's a different information that is needed, and I know that for both wire transfers and EFTs,
okay,
the core information is the same, but there's slightly different information involved. So I don't know what it looks like on the back end regarding uploading it into Scotia Connect. I just know what it looks like on the front end. So I couldn't say, but I do know that we have 3-part checks with the check on the top and then 2 stubs below it on a single 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper.
Okay. And
that's what our checks are.
Okay. And Kirsty, one question regarding volume, just to have an idea myself. Per week, how many items in electronic funds and how many items in wire transfers?
Uh,
An estimate, I don't know, 100?
on average per pay run, and we run 2 a month, unless there's an emergency. On average per pay run, we're looking at 20 EFTs, 10 to 15 wires. And at the end of the month, you can almost double that.
Okay, perfect.
So the mid-month is what can be light, depending on timing of invoices that come through, and the end month can be heavy. So you're looking, it fluctuates.
Okay.
Sometimes, yeah. So on average, you're looking at 20 to 15, and recently significantly higher.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for the input. Okay, I will continue now with the bank statement. We have two alternatives for bank statement. I will jump to the PowerPoint. Give me 1 second. We have covered F110, and then we can jump to manual bank statements. Okay. Manual bank statements are managed inside the menu in accounting, financial accounting, banks. Here we need to look for incomings, bank statement. Here we have manual entry, that is FF67, the transaction, and the transaction to import bank statement is FF_5. Okay, those are the main transactions for you. If we go to first to manual entry, we will understand how from SAP side the system works. Okay, here in our previous tests, let me show you something. There is another transaction that will show me the different statements that I have tried to post or I have posted. It's called FIBAN, okay? F-E-B as Boston, A-N. In this transaction, I see that my last balance was 507.
Can I interrupt you before you go further?
Yep.
I'm doing this alongside you, so I'm not wasting time on it. And when I went and I double-clicked on FF67, I had a screen that came up that had specifications.
Okay, yeah, I will show you that. Yeah.
So what do I need to do to get past that screen?
Okay, I will show you that right now.
Thank you.
It's just to let you know that the current balance of this account of the last statement is $507,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, 507. When I go to manual entry, I don't receive that screen. Why? Because it's not the first time that I have access. Here at the top, you have settings and specifications, and there I assume this is the screen you are receiving, no? Here you need to select.
Yes, that's the screen I'm receiving.
Okay. You need to select the two first flags. The start variant will be Beitia, okay, like BAT. Then you have a D, and a K for customers and vendors ID, and the processing type will be 4. That means that the system will post this automatically and not with a split operation of a batch input session. We call it a different processing method. We will use 4. Okay.
Okay.
And you need to flag transfer value date. Okay. So, first of all, our company code will be 9100. The house bank we are going to use for this example, the first one is SC_DC for Canadian dollars. The account ID will be CTA, that means account 01. And statement number, let me check it because I forgot to review that. The system checks, and I will show you that you are not duplicating a statement, okay? For example, the last statement that we post was number 5, okay? So if I put 5 again here and statement date today, the system will directly show me the previous statement and will not let me post that, okay? So I need to include here number 6, is the subsequent one. And then my opening balance was 507. I will put 508 on purpose, okay? And here I will put 500,000 like we have an expense here. I will press enter and look at this message. Beginning balance does not match prior ending balance of 507. So that is letting you know that maybe you are missing a statement in the middle, or the statement, the date of the previous statement, the end date doesn't match your beginning date of this one, and so on. So it's a couple of controls that the system is making to you to be sure you process in the right way. So I will change this by 507. And I will put my closing balance, and that will let you control automatically by the system, but that when you finish to process the transactions, the content of the details match the total amounts, okay? Sorry, Spanish notation. There we are. So here we have a screen to enter the transactions, okay? We have some predefined codes by the template, okay? If I open the match code, we see that there are different keys, okay? That means, for example, commissions and so on. Commissions, outgoing checks, incoming checks, outgoing wires, incoming wires, other incomes, other outgoing movements, and so on, okay? For example, for this training, I will use a commission account, okay? I will put the transaction code is CCOM for commission. I will use a value date of today and an amount of, I don't know, for example, 7,000 negative, because it's an expense, okay? I can put the bank reference, okay? It's the comment that is coming from the bank, and I can process all the transactions of the bank statement, okay? I will process only this because it depends a lot of the content of the statement, but the logic is the same. Each of these transactions behind scenes has a predefined debit or credit indicator to one account and the offset account, okay? So every of these transactions has a predefined posting. I will save this, okay? The statement list was saved, it says here. And then what I will go is here to the menu and post individual statement, okay? I post it. I see here the number of postings, that is one posting, okay? And I can go back and look for the last posting in transaction FB03. And you see here, we have an automatic posting of 7,000 Canadian dollars that is debiting an expense account and crediting the Scotiabank account automatically. The transaction key that we use, COM, seed commissions, was the one that indicated behind scenes that it needs to perform a debit to an expense account and a credit to the bank account. Okay. There are movements, for example, that will be for example, interest. If you are collecting an interest from the bank, then the posting will be a debit to the bank account and a credit to a revenue account for interest, for example. Okay? All these transaction keys are the main trigger of postings regarding bank statements. Clear until now? Because I will jump now to electronic banking. Okay? Everything clear? Well,
Yes, yes, thank you.
with electronic banking, the concept is exactly the same. The only thing is that instead of introducing these transactions manually in the system, line by line, copying the statement, okay, we are receiving that from the bank in a predefined format that, per my understanding, for Canada is multicache. You can correct me if I am wrong. We will process that multicache file and the system will upload it and map the codes from the bank to the transaction codes that we have just seen. Let's suppose, Kirsty, that in Nova Scotia Bank, you have a posting, a transaction code in the paper that says, I don't know, COM1, and another one that is COM2. What we do normally in the system is map the electronic bank code to our transaction codes, okay? So the code from the bank, let's say I will do it in an Excel, just to let you understand.
Okay.
Let's suppose this is our bank statement, the paper, and we have this on the bank side, COM1 to COM2, okay? Behind scene, we map this to COM negative, as we saw, and that will generate exact the same posting for both codes in the bank statement, okay? And it will generate the same posting that we saw, that we generated manually by using this COM negative transaction. Which problems can we have in the bank side? Okay, we can have a problem where suddenly the bank appears with a COM3. When we process the bank statement, we need to have here the corresponding transaction from the system side. Okay, so it's something if your bank has a stable naming convention for the transactions in their side, then you will normally not have problems. If you have any problem, you need to raise a ticket and ask someone from your support of SAP team to add this relationship to the new bank transaction key. Okay?
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When I look at the bank statements, the EFTs generally go out in one lump sum, and the wire transfers generally go out individually.
Okay.
How is that going to be impacted when we're doing a bank reconciliation? Because I don't know how it's going to be posting in SAP. Is it going to be posting by each individual EFT, or
No,
is it going to be posting by the lump?
normally there is no logic to split that file in the standard.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but I think you can. It's a, let's say, two dancers play this. What I mean is, maybe, and I don't know if you are submitting the file with a global amount for electronic funds, and then the bank is reproducing that. Maybe what you can do is generate multiple files for electronic funds, submit them separately to the bank, and that will force the bank to report that separately in your bank statement also. It's something
No, with the electronic funds, it goes in as a lump sum payment. And the wire transfers, even though you go through and you approve them all at once, it still shows up individually.
I know, but what my question is, what happens? I understood your problem with electronic funds, but what happens if in each file you submit to the bank one payment for electronic funds?
What has happened is it will generate, because we just had this recently, it will generate a separate batch for EFT, so it goes based on the number approved, but I'm not going to have my approvers go through and approve each individual EFT individually, because that's going to be a nightmare for them. They've got enough work to do.
I see. Okay, it's something we need to maybe discuss with the bank, how to be able to split that in the statement. Because the origin of the information in that side is the bank. Anyway, be careful in the system. What you normally do is you post the electronic bank statement as a global amount, and if you have the data on hand, the system will not automatically clear the correct items, but you can still perform a quick process if you have the data of clearing the items manually, so you have your bank reconciliation ready in the system without problems for reporting. Okay.
Okay.
There is a way to do it in the system. Unfortunately, it will not be automatic as for wire transfers.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so for import process of electronic bank file, Julio has generated a long discussion. We need to relog in. Let me go inside again. Oops. Let me put it again just in case. I put the wrong button. Give me 1 second. Yes. Okay, so for electronic bank statement, what I was saying is that Julio included a variant for you to use as reference, okay? Bank statement, import, okay? And here, if we open this little button next to the execution button, we can have all the list of different variants that are ready for this transaction. Julio created a variant called multi-cache, okay? Okay, here we are selecting in the first match code the multi-cache format, okay? And in the subsequent fields, we are telling the system where we are storing the header and detail file. I have one example that Julio has prepared for me. Give me 1 second. Multicache detail and multicache here. Let me copy this to avoid long path to the main directories. Okay. So it's C temp. I'm including the correct path here. And the name is multicache here. Multicache here. And the other one will be the same directory or folder. Okay. I include the details file here. Oops, home, sorry. The path to the front. Okay. The insert is not working well, and I am overwriting. Okay, there we go. Okay, temp multicache here and temp multicache detail. I press and enter to take the data, and that's all here. If you see, sorry, here in the box that's saying posting parameters, in this transaction ff_file, I am having the radio button as do not post. Okay, the radio button allows me to simulate the processing. Okay, I will do that. It's asking me if I can access to that directory. Okay, this time is not on data storage. Okay. It's saying that the statement 01 is already processed. Let me change the file. Okay. Multicache here. Okay. This is because we already made some testings with this. It's 7 or 8. 8. Multicache detail. And I will include 8 here also. I'm touching the files to fake that is another bank statement, okay? Let's do it now. Okay, and here we have the content of the file with different transactions that have been mapped, okay? Like commissions or outgoing values and so on, things that are in the statement, okay? But it was just a simulation, this, okay? Why? Because I used this button, this radio button, as do not post, okay? Post immediately. Same screens that before, but the difference will be that we have generated another document. Okay.
Okay, so question for you. If you've gone through and you've done your simulation, and you find that there's a problem, how do you fix it in this screen, or do you have to go into manual in order to fix it?
No, this file is coming from the bank, so we shouldn't touch it. Okay.
Okay.
So if there is a problem, normally will be that this new transaction was not there customizing the system, the case I was telling you before, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because the bank, the format will be standard on the bank side, will be deploying that in the same format every time. The only thing that
Okay,
can
but what if there's a transaction that was missed? Such
okay.
as you haven't entered interest, or you haven't entered a deposit that came through that you weren't aware of because it came through overnight and you didn't see it in the morning. So what about if something like that happens?
If something,
Or there's a payment that went out that was for an incorrect amount. I mean, how do you verify that?
no, the posting, the thing is, the system will post your bank statement as is into your bank, let's call it bank statement account, okay?
Okay.
And then you have your account for outgoing payments and your account for incoming payments from the accounting side, okay? What you're going to do later is clear the items that are not matching. And there you will see those differences and identify what is the problem. Maybe there is a payment that was there in the bank, but it's not there in accounting, for example. Something strange, but it can happen. Or more normal, regular, an incoming payment that the bank received and you didn't receive the information from your customer and it's not processed in the system. So your balances of your bank statement account will not match the balances of your incoming and outgoing payment accounts, okay? Once, you remember yesterday we were discussing about the clearing and open status for line items, okay? Let me show you something.
Yeah, the only time that they should, the only time that on our side from history that our bank accounts shouldn't balance to what our GL is saying is when there is an outstanding check. So it doesn't happen very often that the bank statement doesn't balance to our bank account.
No, but for example, commissions, okay? Commissions, as we saw, will debit an expense and will credit the bank account, okay? But the bank account that it will credit will be the bank statement account, okay? The outgoing payments account is not with that amount because you were not aware about this commission and you are understanding that through the bank statement, okay?
Okay.
That's okay. But for example, let's suppose you generated a check. You provided that to a vendor, and the vendor didn't cash it. Okay?
Yeah.
You have
Outstanding check.
outstanding in your bank outgoing payments account. Okay?
And it's going to list as an outstanding item. Yeah.
Yeah. In the other side, an incoming payment that was the customer didn't inform you will be in the other account, in the bank statement account, processed by the bank statement.
But it's not showing up in our bank account, so it's an outstanding. So it's an income deposit. So we have to do an entry for that.
Exactly. Once you do the entry, you will manually clear those, manually or automatically, because you have a way to do it automatically. You will clear those items and they will go to the green traffic light.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, at the end of the month, your outstanding items will look as red items in your incoming and outgoing payments accounts, your accounting accounts, okay? And those items plus the final balance on your main bank statement account, let's say, will be your reconciled balance, okay?
Okay, so then question for you.
Yeah.
If we're doing imported bank statement reconciliations,
Yeah.
and so we're dealing with two accounts because our incoming and outgoing are going to be in one account. So if we're dealing with two accounts because we've got the imported bank statement and then we've got the GL account, the cash account, are we doing two bank statements or two bank reconciliations, or are we just doing one? Unless I'm missing it, and I understand the point regarding automatic, having a transaction clear automatically, but how can we confirm if the bank statement is being imported into a bank account or to a bank statement GL account? How can we confirm that our GL account for the actual bank account is clearing? If we're doing, unless I'm missing something.
No, it's okay. When you process the bank statement, okay, for example, here we have processed the bank statement. You see that green lights for the other transaction we made, for example.
Yeah.
This one is another commission transaction, but it has not been posted. Why? Because I need to process it yet. Okay, there is another transaction. I can post it through here to be more specific.
Okay, so is it posted in the bank statement or is it posted in the GL account for the bank?
It's processed on the bank statement side, on the bank module, let's call it. And now that I have posted, I can go to the document where it has been posted here. Okay, so now it's in the GL account that ends with 012 for Scotiabank. Okay.
Okay.
Against expenses in this case because it was a commission. Okay. That normally doesn't use an intermediate account. Okay. You were saying you are going to have another account. Let's review the accounts. Give me 1 second. I will copy this number because normally we have these accounts in groups. FS00. I will use transaction FS00 to review the accounts. Okay. This is the account that we have just used.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we have 11. Okay, I understand your point. You are managing only one account directly. So the point there will be, let me check it in any way. Give me 1 second. I will check the payment run configuration.
Sorry, it's just a little concerning if we're doing an import for a bank statement. How can we confirm?
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, you are using only one account. The thing is, although in the same account, if that account manages open items, you will have a debit and a credit, okay?
Yeah.
So you have a credit going to the account saying 12 when paying. And, okay, I understand your point. Yeah,
so I mean, if we're importing a bank statement and you're saying that it's posting items into an account called bank statement, how can we confirm that it's being cleared on our bank account statement?
Yeah, I understand.
Or on our bank account GL. So
the structure is to be used with 3 accounts, okay? Not with only one. I understand your point.
Oh, that's a little scary.
Yeah. No. The thing is, with the 3 accounts scheme, what you are doing is you are separating completely your bank information from your accounting information, okay? If you do that and you clear the items of the account and bank statement accounts later in a subsequent step, you are sure that the outstanding items are showing red traffic lights and you have them identified always.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to confirm. I'm trying to make sure that we don't have red traffic lights in our bank accounts.
Yeah.
In our bank GLs. That's what I'm trying to confirm. And I'm wondering how the system does that if it's doing it automatically.
Yeah, I understand. No, but even worse than that, because if you think that you're processing the bank statement, you are and let's say reversing your posting in some way because it's with the other sign, with the other debit or credit indicator. Okay, on this topic, right now, let's put a parking lot about the account definition for banks. On the processing of bank statement is what we saw. Okay, you have the file, you process it. It follows. One comment on that is we can have the transactions are defined in the system, and they have the posting configured behind scenes. Okay, so when you process, I don't know, CCOM, we have a debit to the expense account and a credit to the bank account. We can do whatever is necessary, although we need to validate that with the template from Peru. Okay, we need to be in agreement, but the problem is not particularly how to configure it. The problem is that to have only one account, and at the same time, if you want to process bank statement, it will be complicated to manage it in only one account. Okay, that's the point we need to review. If we want really to go ahead with one account or with 3 accounts. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Pablo, let me check if Pablo is connected. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Regarding this topic, I think it's very important to put the parking lot and discuss with Julio if we want to use 1 account or 3 accounts on this topic. Okay?
Okay, let me check that with Luis because I just want to make sure that they are going to use 3 accounts or 1 account, but according with the corporate global model.
Okay. Yeah, but I think we can split that discussion into other session just to avoid delaying all the people right here. Okay?
Sure.
Okay. Kirsty, well, regarding Treasury, those are the main topics we need to review. The other thing is, as we saw, when you are posting payments or having incoming payments or deposits, you are starting to generate items. And as we saw, for vendors, for example, the items that you are paying are automatically being cleared by the system, okay? So the reports are exactly the same that the ones we were seeing yesterday to display line items. And from there, you can review that the documents have been cleared. I have checked with Eduardo this afternoon, and for Treasury, you don't have specific reports in the template, okay? We have some reports in the standard, but for example, cash flow, cash position, cash projections are not reports that are being used inside the global model right now.
Okay, I do have some questions for you. I see that we're on the very last page. One of the questions is, how is it that I can go through and I can print my bank statements or my bank reconciliations? Because we do need to have a soft copy of those statements, or a hard copy of those statements.
Okay.
Reconciliations, sorry.
Sure. Let me access again because it has disconnected me again.
Sorry, I'm going to keep you connected for a few minutes more.
The one transaction where you can display is the one that I show you, that was FIBAN, okay? But that will not work for you in order to generate a hard copy, I think, because it's like a structure here, okay? Those are the bank statements. Inside each of them, you have transactions, so on, but it's a structure. Then what you can have is, again, using the menu is the best way to get this. For bank statements, then you have, for example, this transaction to display, okay? But what I use normally is inside the same transaction of manual entry, you have this overview, for example, okay? And there you have all the company codes. And there you can double click and access to the different bank statements with the opening balance and ending balance, okay? And for example, in the bank statement number 8 that we just processed, there you have the 3 transactions we uploaded to the system. And it's saying, okay, this one is post, this one is uploaded but not posted, okay? For example, here you have a good control of what is included in each statement, if it has been processed or not. So if you want to, for example, print bank statement 8, you can access here and print it from here.
Okay, so go up into the settings or the print button.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay.
That's
Cool. That explains that. And now another question for you. How do we create a report for payments over 100,000?
Payments over 100,000. In accounts payable, again, in the information system, this is what we saw yesterday. You have here payment transactions. Here you have payment list, for example, and it's a report where you can, you want to select that, I don't know, from a month or for one payment run, by payment run.
I want to select it for a month.
Okay, because this is oriented to payment run, okay? In a way, you can have here, you see, totals list per country, per currency, per payment method, and here you can select variants with filters, for example. Let me check if I can do this. Give me 1 second. No record selected. Give me 1 second. Here. Let me check if I can. Vendor items. List of vendor open items. Vendor payment history. No, this is not well structured. Here is a thing to find the correct report that has a look that is good. One way that you can do is FBL1N, okay? And here we can have all items, for example. So for for company code 9100, I can set all items, and that will give me both invoices and payments. But here, for example, I can select by filter document types KC, that is a payment, and CP. Again, we need to be detailed, but it's just an example, okay? So you select your document types that are related to payment. Now we have restricted the search, okay? And if I want, for example, payments of more of 100,000
Yep.
in Canadian dollars, let's suppose, I can
Yeah,
do,
it would be originating currency. Yeah.
yeah, here I can put a filter, okay, that local currency is greater than $100,000. And there you have it, okay?
Okay. And just again, that is FB1N. It's kind of hard to see on my screen.
Yeah, it's FBL1N.
FBL1N. Okay, cool.
B as Boston, okay?
Okay.
As Argentinian, my B is a little mixed. The pronunciation of
That's
the
okay.
B is complicated for us.
I understand. I'm used to the marine alphabet, so
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And then I can turn around and get some nasty words in there, but yeah. What happens when you have weird friends?
Sometimes we speak and it doesn't sound well with some words.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like I said, it pays to have weird friends. Okay, I think that makes sense. So that would be, okay, so how, if we go back to FBL1N, we also need to be able to figure out how, so if it's not just a payment, but it's also a payment by vendor. So if a vendor has multiple payments and those payments add up to over 100,000, we still need to be able to see all of the payments that make that up.
Yeah, let's do it again. Instead of 100,000, I will use a different amount, but it's the same. Okay.
Yeah, but this would be by vendor. So say you've got a vendor where you've got 4 payments of 8,000, and then you've got another payment of 80,000. So you're over 100,000 there.
Okay, the total amount.
Yeah, in a given month.
You're getting complicated. Let me see.
No, it's not complicated. It's just as complicated to get it out of SAP.
I'm joking. No, the thing,
I know.
I would like to look for the correct report anyway. If you want, let's do this. Here, we select. It will be easier to select outside. We are seeing how to use reports anyway here.
Okay.
So it's a filter of the document, okay? And it's the document type, for example.
Uh-huh.
The document type is already in green, so it's already here. Document type. I will add the document types here. AC and CP. So that will include all the payments. Okay, these are all my payments, okay? I can group them by vendor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I select account. I can use for example, dates also in the initial screen. You select payments of the month, for example. Okay?
Yeah.
And then once I have the payments of the month, I can totalize by vendor. Okay? That's one option. And I can still see it like this, the total amounts. Okay? So this vendor, total payments 40,000. This vendor, total payments 550,000.
So then anything over 40. Let's see if we can, so if we were to turn around and do an additional sort on the dollar value, so the Canadian amount, could we do it for anything over 40 and then eliminate vendor 7294?
How do you want it?
So if you do the sort by vendors so that you're seeing how the vendor totals, and then can you do an additional sort to show the vendors over 40,000 or over 40,000?
The total amount, let's say.
Yeah. Aren't we fun?
No, a quick way to do it is, give me 1 second.
Probably you can use another report, a more detailed report to understand the amounts of each vendor. Let me try to find another report if you want. I can show you after the session.
That would be great, Pablo. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, just to play a little bit with reports and you see the flexibility. I would like to do, what is the field? Amount in local currency. Give me 1 second. Why it's not shown here? I am having a sorting field that could be amount in local currency,
Mm-hmm.
and I will do it like this. Okay? No, like this. For account, let me check it. If no, it didn't change.
Okay.
No, I need to explore it a little bit. Maybe we can put it as a parking lot, and as Pablo said, we can submit you the exact report and let you play a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other report?
You've shown me how to print out the bank reconciliations. No, you've showed me how to do that already. It was the payments for the wire transfers. You guys are going to be setting up a 3-part check payment for us so that we can do our checks. With the check is on the top and then it's stub, and it's on 8.5 by 11 paper.
Yeah.
Not A4. And you're also going to be setting up a new parameter for the checks, or for EFTs, for electronic funds transfers. And you're going to be investigating further regarding the report creation for the payments of $100,000, over $100,000 by vendor for individual months in local currency.
That's the question. That is a legal requirement. You need to report that to the government.
We need to be able to track funds that are going out the door.
Okay, because sometimes this kind of report are also in the tax side. So
It's not a tax report.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a tax report. Yeah. Just looking at all my notations.
Can you check my screen? Here you can see inside the accounts payable information system, you can see the other reports for vendors. There's a lot of information inside those reports. They're all standard, SAP standard. So we don't have to develop anything. So later on, if you want to check on those reports, you can execute it and use any vendor and check the line
Yeah,
item.
we were just using the vendor payment history with the OI sorted list. That's the report that we were just using. And it was able to give us the original sort it by 100,000, but it couldn't go into sort it by total payments by vendor.
Total payments by vendor.
Yeah. So you can have 10 payments going out to a vendor that total over X amount of dollars, which is in your parameters, but it would only sort for just total payments over, or for payment over, like one payment over that amount.
Okay, I understand. And well, let me check that with Juan Pablo, and I think I have an idea. We're gonna check if I can do it, and then I can explain it to you.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that covers all of my questions. Paul, did you have any? He's yelled no. I can hear him from my office with the door closed.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, and you guys are also going to check, reconnect with the bank to find out regarding import for payment information, as well as import on our side for bank statements, right?
Exactly. And also to define the approach for accounts definition for master data.
Yeah. Okay, great. Like I said, I think that
Nice.
covers all of our questions.
I have a question. I'm so sorry, I just connected just some minutes ago. I'm wondering if you had a chance to review the automatic process for payments, automatic payment,
We did that.
generate the text file that will be transmitted to the bank, all of that.
We didn't generate the text file because we're still waiting for the parameters from the bank, and the consultants are going to be reconnecting with the bank to make sure they've got the information correct.
So there are pending parameters to be defined by the bank in order to be configured in ACP to process that payments. Okay, that's okay. That's what I want to confirm. Thank you.
Thanks, Ronald. Is that everything, guys? Did you need anything further from me?
Not from my side. I don't know if someone else wants to ask a question or make a comment. If not, we can finalize the meeting.
Not hearing anything, so I'm guessing that's everybody fine.
Okay.
Thanks very much for your time, Pablo. That really helped.
Thanks to you,
And everybody else as well.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone. And well, we get connected tomorrow. We have a short session for CO. It will be short because it's reduced the scope there in CO in Canada. Okay.
Okay. What is the session for tomorrow going to be again? CO?
Yeah.
And that is?
I don't know, as it's Friday, if you're having any kind of...
No, just wondering what CO stands for.
CO controlling.
Oh, controlling. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Do you have any time restriction? Do you want to do it earlier tomorrow, that is Friday?
Oh, I've got a meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning. How long do you think it's going to take?
It should be between half and 1 hour. I think more half an hour. I expect.
You're thinking half an hour?
Yeah.
Somebody's sending talks. And Paul has a meeting from 11 till noon, and I've got one from 10 a.m. till 11. Damn it, weather's going to be crazy tomorrow. Yeah, can we meet? So if it's only going to be for half an hour, how about we still do it at the standard time that we've been doing it all week, which is 1 o'clock?
Yep, no issue.
Okay, then that should be enough time to keep everybody safe. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and Paul says we are expecting snow tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Pablo,
Pablo,
¿tienes un punto?
Sí, acá estoy, pero Juan Pablo,